Hello, and welcome to another wonderful Wired Wednesday. My name is Ashley, and this is Scams and Fraud. So, the Government of Canada has come up with a website for scams and fraud. So, today we're going to go through that because I think it's very important to see what the actual scams and fraud are and where to actually find these things. Because these are common things that happen. They could be telephone, they could be online, etc., etc. This is the place to go. It's kind of like your one-stop shop for things that have been reported. So they've actually talk about like what's been reported, and the different scams and stuff, and then just how to protect yourself against scammers as well. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to the Canadian website. So it's canada.ca, and then there is a scams and fraud page. So you can just follow what I've got here at the top of the screen in the URL box, or you can just actually Google it and just type in Government of Canada scams and fraud. It works that way as well. So if you go down here, you'll see, so there's a variety of scams and frauds happening in Canada. With new ones invented daily, learn how you can protect yourself from scammers and be scam smart. So that's something that's really important because there's scams that keep coming out. Like it says on a daily basis, people are trying to get information from people either to sell it or to use it or to gain access to things like bank accounts or credit cards, etc. But first and foremost, you want to know what to do to recognize a scam. So many scams and fraud attempt to imitate government services in order to gain access to your personal and financial information. To identify legitimate communications from us, read these guidelines and know what to expect if we try to contact you. So, for example, there's been quite a few things coming up lately via text message, email, phone calls, etc., claiming to be the government. Messages claiming to be from Service Canada, or 1-800-O-Canada. So you can actually I'm going to click on this here. And then you can just go through this and take a look. So, anytime that anybody's trying to ask you for things like your social insurance number, your credit card number, bank information, these are things that the government's not going to ask you for over the phone. They would never ask you for that kind of stuff. So basically, there's certain things that you have to have when you call them, maybe like a tax return or something like that. If the government, if you're calling them back to do something with that, if you're trying to, maybe you got locked out of your, account online, your CRA account or something like that, and you have to call them. That's when you're calling them and they might ask you questions like, about your tax return, things like that. But they shouldn't ever ask you for your social insurance number anyways. Your social insurance number will be used, when they need to use it, obviously, but they're not going to contact you and ask you for that information. They just won't contact you like that. So these emails, text messages, and letters and calls, including recorded messages, may be fraudulent. So 800-O Canada is a general information service and does not usually make unsolicited attempts to contact Canadians. In very rare cases, Service Canada may unexpectedly contact you in the course of delivering Government of Canada services. So they shouldn't actually ever be calling you and asking you stuff. It's very rare that the Service Canada calls people as well. There's things that have come up such as like the Canada Emergency Response Benefit scams. So there's those as well, for the CERB and things like that. That's something that was really big, obviously, during COVID. And that's something where they've tried to either send you a text message and say, hey, get your COVID money here, get your CERB money here or whatever. And then there's a link. Don't click those links. It's not real. A lot of phone companies now are actually starting to go through and filter those kinds of things. So you might not even get them anymore, or you might get some. If you do, don't click on it. Just delete it. It's all good. When in doubt, like it says, when in doubt, give the Canadian government a call. So 1-800-O-Canada. Give them a call. Talk to them, and see what's going on. Don't give anybody else any other information over the phone. Hang up that call. Call them, and then see. For the 1-800-O Canada and see if there's something that they're trying to get a hold of you for. Most of the time that won't be the case, but at least then you'll have a peace of mind knowing that you've called them and you've talked to them and you know that it's not, it's a scam. So it's not something you would actually do. And they have how to protect yourself against identity theft. Caller ID, because sometimes what they do is they can criminals can alter the information it displays. So the information of the ID caller sometimes might even be fraudulent then. So you have to kind of watch those things. It might say it's from that, but they have the technology to be able to switch that. So it looks like it's from somebody that it's actually not. If any individual ever asks you to pay taxes or fees via email or text message, don't do it. Keep your access codes, user ID, passwords, and PIN secret. So don't ever tell them what your government website CRA login is or anything like that over the phone. Don't do that. Keep your address current with all your government departments and agencies. So make sure that you're up to date with that. You move, you've got to change your license, your health card stuff, all that kind of thing. Before supporting any charity, use the CRA website to find out if the charity is registered. So that's a really good thing because there's lots of charities calling this time of year. It's the holiday season coming up, and people might actually be asking you to donate to a charity. Take a look on the CRA website. It's actually just right here. You can just click on it, and it'll take you right over there, and it'll tell you about registered charities before you actually say, yes, I'm going to donate to this charity. Be careful what you click on. So any emails you receive, some criminals may be using techniques as phishing to steal personal information. So we've talked about phishing scams before, so that's something that's still definitely happening. Protect your social insurance number. Do not use it as a piece of ID. So my suggestion is don't even have it in your wallet. Keep it at home. Keep it in a safe spot. You should never be carrying that on you because if you have your driver's license, you have your SIN number, and you've got a few other things in there, they've got you. So you basically want to make sure you keep that at home, in a safe spot. Even here at the library, I've seen people come in with their, with their SIN number, their SIM card in their wallet and their birth certificate. That's everything that identifies you. Do not keep those things in your wallet. You need to put them away. If you have to take them somewhere, then you bring them out and take them with you. But don't ever just keep those things in your wallet. You're just asking for trouble that way if your wallet gets lost. Pay attention to your billing cycle. So if there's any, suspicious transactions and things, bank accounts, things like that, keep an eye on it, just to make sure. Things can happen. It could be, as simple as, a small charge on it that doesn't seem quite right. Or then they might try that first and then go to a bigger charge when they notice that you don't notice that one. So just kind of keep an eye on your bank accounts, your credit cards, things like that. Immediately report lost or stolen debit cards and credit cards. There was a gentleman that was on the news recently, and he did not report his stolen debit card, and someone was able to actually put a bunch of money and take a bunch of money and actually somehow put him into debt as well, and do that. So just keep an eye on that as well. So if you do lose something, report it right away. It's not worth waiting for. Just do it. They'll send you a new card in the mail, or you can just go into your bank and get a new card and say you've lost it. But I would suggest calling right away just to say, hey, I've lost my card, and then they'll just cancel it. So nobody can touch it. Because keep in mind now, most banks have actually upped their amount that people can tap. So most banks now are saying $250 you can tap. So a day you can tap $250. So if somebody doesn't have your PIN, but they have your card, they could be tapping money off your account as well. Don't write down any passwords or carry them with you. So, there's other ways of keeping passwords. I know there's people who still keep password books and things like that. It's up to you what you want to do. They're basically suggesting don't do that. If you hit it in a safe spot, you can do that. I know people do that. It's not something that's going to stop anytime soon. So just be very vigilant about where you're keeping your passwords as well. And then you can ask a trusted neighbor to pick up your mail if you're away, or ask the post office to hold it, hold your delivery so your mail doesn't come when you're away. So that way nobody gets the chance of getting it if it goes into your door or into a mail slot next to your door or something like that. And then if you think you've been a suspect of a victim of fraud, you can contact your local police service as well. And then you can also ask for help from the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre. So any theft of your social insurance number or your SIN, you can contact Service Canada, and there's actually a page on that as well. So then if we go back up to the top here, I'm just going to go back one. So that's a really great thing to start with, but there's many other things on this website, which we won't be going into all of them obviously today because I don't have that kind of time, but there's some important things here to do. So, there's messages claiming to be from the Canada Revenue Agency. So you basically can just click through these and just take a look at them. It says learn how to identify CRA fake calls, text, emails, or mail. So there's calls going around that were stating that you didn't pay your income tax and they were going to come and arrest you and things like that. Fake calls, don't worry about it, hang up, ignore it. And even those things that they leave a voicemail on your machine, don't worry about it. If you have any questions, call that 1-800-O-Canada number and talk to them. Call the CRA, the Canada Revenue Agency, talk to them. They'll be happy to give you the information. They don't want people to get scammed either. Messages claiming to be from Immigration, Refugees, or Citizenship Canada. So there's scams for that as well. Messages claiming to be from Canada Border Security. There's phone call scams, prepaid cards or Bitcoin e-transfer scams. There's all kinds of stuff like that. They want immediate payment. They'll demand it from you. That could be a threatening email. It could be a text message. It could be all kinds of things. People asking for a prepaid card as payment for something. Or they're poor and they need a prepaid card or something like that. There's all kinds of things that happen. Email scams. So email scams are still a thing. I've gone through them in other videos that I've done. There's email scams from the government. There's email scams from other countries. There's email scams that are threatening to tell your family you've been doing inappropriate things online. Somebody who's been lost, has gotten lost. They need to send money, like a family member. They try to really tug at your heartstrings too, just so that way you send them money. Text messages and instant messaging scams. So we've talked about those as well in the past. I did a video a while back about those. And just the things that come up, just they always want you to click that link, put in your bank information. They're going to send you money. They're not going to send you money. Don't put in anything. Mail scams. Sometimes there's mail that even looks like it's from the government of Canada. That's not something I've experienced, but I know other people who have, where they get a piece of mail and they're like, this looks kind of like it, but not quite. There's always something off, right? So you have to really think about it before you do something or respond back. At least with mail, you can kind of, call, like I said, that 1-800-Canada number, and you can talk to them about it and just see if that's actually a scam or if it's something that's real. Common scams are aimed at newcomers to Canada. So now they're tagging our immigrants and refugees that are coming over, and they're trying to take money from people who don't really have money. So these are really important things to go into and take a look at. COVID-19 scams and fraud. There's a whole big thing about that last year, even into this year. There's COVID scams that were government scams for the CERB. There's COVID scams where there are emails from certain companies saying you can get money or win a gift card from someplace or whatever. Those are all things to look at. But once again, all those emails looked a little off. And once again, I did cover them in a different video. So if you go back to that video, you can do that as well, and you can take a look at those. And that just goes into protecting yourself. So staying safe online, protect yourself from scams and fraud. So you can just click on all of these. You can go through them and take a look at them. And it's just a very good website to be able to do that. And it's from the government of Canada. So they've spent a lot of time on this, doing this. They don't want people to be the victim of fraud. You can report this fraud to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre as well. There's ways of reporting things. It's just, you can see here. Deceptive marketing practices is another thing. People are saying that people basically misleading claims to promote a product or service is illegal as well. So that's something that you can also report. And then you can also report unauthorized health products and claims as well. So there's lots of things you can do on this website. If you go up here as well, they have a little black book of scams. So it's a booklet that you can actually download. So if you click here, you'll go in, there's a booklet, and it's in 8 languages. And includes 12 of the most common scams targeting Canadians. So that's a very important one. So if you just click on it, it comes up here, and you can go through and you can see here. So it's a PDF. So they're all PDFs. So you just find your language, which is English. So it's this one here, and then you just double click it, and it'll download it to your computer. It should go into your downloads folder, and then you can go through and take a look at those scams, because these are things that are actually happening. So they've actually made these PDF files or booklets to actually be able to tell people about what's going on. So that's a very good and helpful thing for them to have done. Double click on that, open it up, read through it. It's really great. And then just going back again. And then there's other scam stories. So they actually have stories from Canadians who were victims of CRA scams. So you can go through and see what kind of scams they went through to kind of get an idea for yourself as well. And then there's a B scam smart playlist, so you can listen to your voice of reason before you act. So watch videos to learn more. So there's lots of videos there as well to talk about scams. And then finally, the cyber safe checkup. So this is I'm just going to click on this here, and you can just go to Let's Start, and that's a test. So you can actually take a test to see if you're actually cyber smart, and it'll go through and it'll explain things to you. And if you get questions wrong, it'll talk about it as well. So once again, this is the Canadian Government of Canada Fraud and Scams website. If you have any questions about it or need some help navigating it, you can always book a tech help appointment with me, librarytech@thebluemountains.ca. Have a great day.